Hello, I'm Jimmy Lynn, coming to you from the LG Digital Studio at Georgetown University, School of Continuing Studies. In focus today, the Winter Olympics. I'm joined by the fabulous Wendy Zajack, Faculty Director of our Integrated Marketing Communications Program. Welcome, Wendy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
So we're back here again after the Super Bowl. So Olympics, fantastic, global experience. You're a marketing and communications guru and expert. How are you enjoying the Olympics so far?
Yeah, so it's funny, right? Olympics, the Winter Olympics particularly follow on the Super Bowl. So it is the Super Bowl for branding and events, international and whatnot. So it's always an exciting time. I think it's more international since the Olympics move around different countries, different brands you see interacting. And it's big money. Big money. Olympic sponsorships are usually about $100 million for 4 years. That's just for the
and that's just for the sponsorship. The activation is almost a similar amount, right?
Exactly.
If you don't activate it, the ROI is not good.
Exactly. So you're looking at U.S. brands with whoever's broadcasting sports are looking at spending $80 million on top of that. So this is some pretty big bucks. Right. And I mean, from your side, you've had a long career in sports. This is huge for athletes. So what's it like to be an athlete in the Olympics? Well,
you know what's interesting, you look at, we just did the Super Bowl, the largest sports event in America, but you look at the two biggest global events are the Olympics and then the World Cup, which is happening this summer, right? But think about the major difference for the athlete perspective. So for the Super Bowl, you're playing football every year, right? Even for the World Cup, you're not playing for your national team, but you're playing for your league team every year. The Olympics, it's different. Once every 4 years. So you have to do all that training for it could be 30 seconds, a minute, minute and a half. I'm good friends with a former Olympic gold medalist, and she told me the '96 Atlanta Olympics, she took 1/2 of a bunny hop. She still won the bronze, but that cost her the gold. Think about 4 years of training. That's the big difference. Instead of monthly, year after year, it's pour all your heart into it for 1 year.
Yeah, and I think from the branding perspective, right, that's the huge risk.
Yes.
So if you look at the great ones, Michael Phelps, I think probably the best Olympic legend from a branding perspective. I mean, he's had longevity, he wins, he gets gold medals. That's exciting, right? Great to be associated with him. And then I think about some of the ones that haven't gone so well. So you have Winter Olympics. It's probably most of our audience is too young to remember. Bodie Miller, the skier. Huge expectation. Did a little bit too much partying, didn't deliver, so big brand failure. You also had in the Summer Olympics in Rio, you had a swimmer named Ryan Lochte. Another one, could have been great, huge medal winner. He got into a little bit of trouble, had maybe a false report about something, all his brands dropped him. So from a marketing perspective, this is some high stakes stuff happening.
Well, my favorite one, well, maybe not favorite, just the most infamous one is the famous Reebok, Dan and Dave in the '92 Olympics, where Reebok put all their money into these two decathletes to be the world's greatest athlete, and one of them didn't make it. So talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's challenging. I think the other thing that's really interesting this year, after 40 years with the Olympics, McDonald's has decided to end their partnership early with the Olympics.
So why would they make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of speculation around it. But I think if you look at it, the way athletes have to train today, a fast food diet may not fit into that from a branding perspective, right? So I think long term, McDonald's and the Olympics are both getting some flack. Hey, are Big Macs really what an elite athlete needs? And I think that had a lot to do with why they eventually pulled out. But again, from a branding perspective, the upside is you've got this tremendous global audience, right? And this year you've got Alibaba for the first time being Olympic sponsor. You've got Samsung in there.
And those two are Asian brands, but it's really significant because for the first time, the next 3 Olympics are in Asia, right? The Winter Olympics are in Korea right now. The 20 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, and the 22 Winter Olympics are going back to Beijing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So for those brands, it's a home run.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I think, again, to really globalize your brand, it's just such a tremendous opportunity. Again, you mentioned that, it only happens every 4 years. So the specialness is cool. I also think in a world where we have a lot of political dissonance going on.
In DC?
In DC a little bit, but you've got a real chance to bring people together, to celebrate together. So I think from a branding, from a global perspective, this is a really special time, right?
And also, you know, you and I are both diversity champions. So I know what your answer is going to be. So like, name one thing about the Winter Olympics right now that really stands out for you.
Yeah, and I know you're going to know what I'm going to say. I mean, Chloe Kim is just phenomenal. I mean, first of all, you've got 17. Fearless, taking on a sport that has been traditionally more a Shaun White game with snowboarding, right? A little more male dominated, just tearing it up. I mean, almost got a perfect score yesterday. Fabulous, right?
And then what, you know, I also always talk about social media, the importance of it in the Super Bowl. How cool is that she's tweeting in between her runs?
Right, exactly. And what I really love about Chloe particularly, she's super down to earth, right? She's tweeting like, man, I didn't get to have my snack.
Right.
So here you got fresh face, Gen Z audience, the below millennial audience. Fantastic. She's fiery. And on top of it, she's got such a great story. Her Korean grandmother was there when she won. Dad came to the U.S. So, I mean, to me, she's my favorite. How about you?
Well, you also, we talked about this earlier, like, what do the Olympic athletes have to do to get sponsorships, right? So the big name athletes have the major agencies like Octagon, which has more Olympic athletes than anyone, and you know the WME, IMG, and CA have these. So they're out there getting the deals. But the athletes that are in the niche sports or that aren't in the top 10, they have to find their own sponsorship dollars. And so there's actually a number of former Georgetown athletes that are in the Olympics now, including a triathlete. So they actually come to me and say, I need to help with the sponsorship dollars. But just think what Chloe did. The fact that she says she's hangry, right, and she wants breakfast. I mean, you're telling me her agent's not fielding calls right now from, you know, people that make the breakfast food?
Exactly.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, we're out of time. So as always, the time flies by, and I can't thank you enough for sharing your insights today. And we'd like to thank everyone out there for watching. So please stay tuned for more from the LG Digital Studio at Georgetown SCS.